Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to my spooky season TBR. So I thought I would do a little TBR for like October, November season where I want to be reading as many horrors as I can and witchy books, things like that, things I just really like to read in this season because I've been saving a bunch up on my physical TBR and on my Kindle. So I'm really excited to show them to you today and what I'm choosing to read this spooky season, hopefully if I can fit them all in. So the first book that I'm hoping to read this spooky season is The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. This I've been really wanted to pick up for a while because everybody kind of compared it to Rebecca. They said it was a mix of Rebecca and Mexican Gothic. Now, I really loved Mexican Gothic until the weird stuff started happening and it was weird, not creepy. So I'm hoping I'll like this, and I absolutely love Rebecca, so hopes are in my favour. So we follow Beatrice, whose house is destroyed. She, I think it's like in the war or something, or there's like a problem with the Mexican government. Something happens and there's an overthrow and her house is destroyed as a result. But somebody proposes to her and she's warned not to go through with it because his last wife died in suspicious circumstances. But with nothing else to do and nowhere else to go, Beatrice decides to go to the Hacienda house and take up his proposal, I suppose. And when she gets there, not all is as it seems. Spooky things start to happen and she realises that she is in danger. This sounds so good, and I'm really hoping that this is going to be what I hoped Mexican Gothic was going to be, because I really wanted Mexican Gothic to not be as spooky, not be as weird as it was. Like, it took a gross, weird horror turn. I didn't love that. I wanted it to be a more like a Rebecca understated creepy horror turn. So that's what I'm hoping to get from this book. I don't know much else about it. I've just seen a couple of reviews that really piqued my interest. So hopefully I will get to that this season. So the next book I would really like to read and have been meaning to read for a very long time is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This book follows Emmanuelle, I think her name is, and she's black, which means that she's already very much disliked by her town, and she tries really hard to fit in as a result because she doesn't want to give anybody any more reasons to dislike her. Goes to church, she's very well behaved, she's an upstanding member of society. Then one day she goes out into the woods and she stumbles across the site where 4 witches were murdered, and the ghosts of the witches give her power to be a witch or something like that, and then she discovers the evils of the church and of the town and the people, and so it's her job to fix this, change it, and yeah, make a change and save herself, I guess. This sounds so fascinating. I'm really, really intrigued by this, and I have been meaning to read it now since at least last Halloween, maybe even the year before. I can't remember when it came out, but Alexis Henderson's next book is coming out, I think, this month. So that gives me a very good push to read this now, to know whether to pick that up or not. Definitely sounds amazing. That synopsis literally sounds like perfection. And I've seen so many people that I trust love it. So I'm really hoping to get to this month, as it's been on my Kindle for about a year. So next thing I want to read is Bindle Bruja by Desideria Mesa. Oh my god, I'm butchering that. I'm so sorry. I've been meaning to read this now for, again, at least 2 months. I got an arc of it in August. It is now October. It keeps passing me by. But this sounds so interesting and definitely perfect for a spooky read. I don't think it's a horror, which means it'll be a nice break from a lot of the horrors that I want to read this month. But it does sound so fascinating and does fit in with the witchy vibes that I'm hoping to get a lot of this month. So this is set in the 20s, I believe in New York, and we follow Luna, who also goes by Rose, and she is white passing in a very dangerous for black people world, or society at the time, and she also runs a undercover jazz club. So not only is she doing something illegal, she's also being discriminated against in this society, so is trying to hide her black culture. I think one day then, the people she's dealing with are criminals and things. One of them finds out her true identity and threatens her, and so she's kind of in a place where she has to take on a new identity, and so she becomes a flapper. But she's a witch as well with magic, and she houses witches in this jazz club. I don't know what's going on. It just sounds like a really good time. It sounds like it's going to be quite a lot of information. Like, that does sound like a lot's going on. But I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really nice read. I think it's going to be a hard read, but a good read nonetheless. So I'm really excited about this one. I can't really say anything about this without spoiling it, but we follow a Prince of Hell, Wrath, and is her name Amelia, I was close. Amelia, as the first book, they try to avenge her sister's murder. It starts off as a YA series and then goes very new adult. This book is very steamy for what I started this series with. Absolutely adore this book so far. I've seen mixed reviews, but I am 150 pages in and having the best time ever. So I'm really hoping to finish this, maybe even today, because I want to film a read with me later. So maybe I'll finish this today. Who knows? But I'm so excited to be reading this and to have this in my hands. This series is perfection. Only thing is, I recommended this series to my sister, and now that I've gotten onto the other books, I'm going to be like, no girl, not till you're older. Take them back, because this is definitely not YA anymore. It's new adult for sure. Do not pick this up unless you like steam, because it starts with a explicit scene, which is nobody expected, I'm sure. I certainly didn't. I just want to warn everybody, because I feel like it's being housed in the wrong section of bookshops, and it's a bit worrying, to be honest. Next is The Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo. Again, something I've had on my TBR since my birthday and been wanting to read since my birthday. Lovely Lauren got this for me and I haven't read it yet. And I don't know why. This sounds so interesting. So we follow Lily in the 1950s in America, which is not a great time because she is gay. And Lily is in a relationship with a girl called Kathleen, or will be in a relationship with someone called Kathleen, I'm not sure. And obviously this is not a world where two women are allowed to be together. And I believe Lily does everything she can to make sure that her and Kathleen don't have to hide their love. But not only is Lily gay, Lily is also Chinese. So with her Chinese heritage, she is also an outcast already because it's 1950s America. And so it's very hard for Lily, and I just think we follow her struggles. It says, with deportation looming over her father and despite his hard-won citizenship, Lily and Kath risk everything to let their love see the light of day. I just think this is going to make me cry. I think it's going to be so good. But such an important read, and I don't know why, it just gives me autumnal vibes. So I've been wanting to read it in autumn. So hopefully I get to this month, or I'll be very upset. Or this season, not this month. October or November. Next is something I would never normally read, but it is The Luminous Dead by Starling, a sci-fi horror. Who am I with the sci-fi? And I think there's 2 of them on this list. Wild. So in this we're following a woman called Gaia, and she lies her way completely onto an expedition of going to hunt inside of caves to gather minerals and things like that, and she is not equipped to do this. She's completely lied and said that she is, but she thought, I'll be fine because there's a bunch of like actually trained people with me. But there's not. There's only one person called M, and yeah, I think creepy things start to happen. They're being followed. I have no idea what this is about. I have no idea if it's like a psychological horror, like an actual monster horror, alien horror. I have no idea. I'm just so excited to find out. The cover, absolutely deceased. Love that cover, and I've seen nothing but good things about this. I don't think I've seen one bad thing, to be honest. It's got a 3.7 rating on Goodreads, so we'll see. But I'm so intrigued by this, and I just think if I don't read it now, I never will. So I have to pick it up because it's on my Kindle, and I'm just waiting to get my teeth stuck in. And on a kind of similar vein is The Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, which again is a sci-fi horror. Who am I reading sci-fi? I don't know. This is called Titanic meets The Shining. I've never seen The Shining, nor do I have any intention to, because it sounds horrifying. However, the Titanic, yes please. I don't know if anyone knows this, but I have trypophobia, and I mean awful trypophobia. I am terrified of the sea. Getting in it is a very big deal for me, and I don't like doing it. I don't like going to the beach. I can't go on a cruise. I was meant to go on a cruise as a kid with my friend, and I bailed last minute. I couldn't do it. I have a huge fear, which then in turn means I'm so invested in the sea. I love to watch documentaries about Mariana's Trench. I am so into it. I love reading horror stories about the sea. I want to read about sea creatures like Cthulhu, obsessed. Because it's already scary to me, so a horror set in the sea is horror. Like, that is the scariest horror you can give me. So this is something about a rescue team get a distress signal from a ship. They go to find the ship, and they find the ruins of a past expedition ship, I think. this thing that they find went missing 20 years ago, and they're very confused how it sent a distress warning, but they're going to salvage it and get it up and out of the sea, I guess. And then it says a ghost ship, a salvage crew, and unspeakable horrors. It says nothing else. It just says they find out that something's not right. I have goosebumps talking about this book. I have goosebumps right now and I'm terrified. This sounds so, so good, and I think between this and The Luminous Dead, I could really get into sci-fi horror if these are good books. I'm there for it. The cover, again, looks amazing. And Christine from the Roomies Digest, who I'm just obsessed with, she absolutely loved this book, gave it 5 stars, and has talked about it quite a lot, which makes me really want to read it. So I'm on board. I'm going to read it. This is one of my top priorities. I'm going to be reading this 100%. Cannot wait for it. The next book I want to read is Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin, and this is it's considered a sci-fi, apparently, a sci-fi horror, but it's LGBT, and I'm really excited about it because it's all about killing men. I've never heard of something more up my alley. So we have Beth and we have Fran, and their whole life is destined now to hunting the New England coast to search for feral men and harvest their organs. After experiencing something traumatic for them both, they want to end all men to ensure that they do not end up murdered themselves. Say less, girlies. I am a supporter of you. It says, Manhunt is a timely, powerful response to every gender-based apocalypse story that failed to consider the existence of transgender and non-binary people from a powerful new voice in horror. Yes, please. It sounds so good because let's harvest men. I swear, I'm sitting here spooky as shit, talking about horror. It's dark outside. And there's birds making scary noises. Please. Please. I'll actually wet myself. What's that? No, I'm getting really creeped out. Oh, I'm getting really creeped out. So next I want to read Rolling in the Deep by Mira Grant. This is simply a novella in preparation for the Into the Drowning Deep book, which I've actually DNF'd Into the Drowning Deep. I tried to read it in 2020, just before pandemic, because I got stuck with the library book for about 9 months. I just didn't love that book because what I was hoping for was some graphic scenes about the sea, because as I just said to you, I love horror set in the sea. That is quite creepy, but it gave me more science than I wanted, more descriptions of scientific things. But as I've seen this month, I have a lot of sci-fi horror on this TBR, so I feel like anytime's a time to do it, it's now. And this is the novella that is like based on a documentary made about the mermaids, and I'm really, really excited about reading this because I think it'll hype a bit of anticipation for me in preparation for if I want to read Into the Drowning Deep again. If I don't like this, I won't. But I think it could bring a bit of scariness to it. I'm so creeped out. I cannot tell you. I'm so creeped out. I have goosebumps right now. Ugh. I think it'll bring a little bit of anticipation to the next book, hopefully, that I will enjoy. Oh my god, how am I going to read these books if I'm already scared just talking about these books? Oh my god. I am so spooked out that I've just had to go turn on the bathroom light and light a candle for extra, light, because I'm so scared. Why? If even talking about horror books does this to me, I'm in trouble. The fact that I started filming in the light and it's now dark is really worrying. Anyway, okay, moving on. Let's talk about more scary horror. So this sounds scary. This is Beneath the Stairs, oh for goodness sake. Beneath the Stairs by Jenny Fawcett. This is about Claire and Abby who go into a haunted house, or it was an abandoned house, where a man had killed his wife and his 2 kids. And when they were there, stuff happened that was so spooky that Claire came out, and when Abby came out, she was traumatised. 20 years later, Abby is still traumatised from this incident and attempts suicide. Oh my god, no joke, the goosebumps. I don't think you can see that. The goosebumps on me right now are insane. Oh my god. I'm surrounded by mirrors. There's 2 mirrors over there. My entire wardrobe is mirrors behind you. And I can just see millions of my face. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, okay, calm. calm. I bet you're all watching this in the middle of the day, just like, it's not scary. I'm scared. So after Claire finds out about Abby's incident, and Abby is in a coma, Claire decides to go back to the house. Why would you do that? Why? Anyway, she goes back to the house in an effort to discover, I guess, what happened and how she can fix Abby? Help Abby? I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. But I'm really excited about this story. I think it's going to be amazing. It hasn't got the best reviews. It's got 3.5 on Goodreads, so it could be disappointing. But I'm very open to giving it a go. It's on Audible. No, it's on Scribd, so wish me luck that I'm not terrified like I am now. So next I want to read The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. So this is following Alice, who is a documentary maker, and she's making a documentary about a village. It is a little old mining town where a girl, when Alice was a little girl, her grandmother and her entire family went missing and they were never heard from again. And she's doing a documentary in order to uncover the disappearance and what happened. But when she gets there, stuff starts to go missing, people start to be weird, and it all goes a bit wrong from there. This sounds really similar to The Creeper by A.M. Shine, which I read recently. I'm just hoping for those creepy vibes again. This one sounds like it's going to be quite interesting if it's done right. It doesn't have the best reviews, but we shall see. It is again on Scribd, so hopefully it is a good one. We will find out though. Again by Camilla Sten, we have The Resting Place. We follow Eleanor, who sees her grandmother get murdered. She watches it happen, and then she's like kind of traumatized from that, and then a lawyer comes to say that her grandmother left her house and it's the place that her grandfather mysteriously died. So she, her boyfriend, the lawyer, and her auntie all go to this house to see what in the world this house is doing, as it's been unused for 50 years or something. This sounds really, really interesting. It sounds really creepy. I love a haunted house, as we can tell from quite a few of these books. I am so into that. It sounds really, really interesting. Again, a Camilla Sten, so that's hopefully, if I like one of her books, I'll like the other one, so fingers crossed for me. Sounds really interesting, has a really great premise. As I said, I love haunted house. This is the season for the hauntings. I will be watching Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor just to fit the vibes. In a similar-ish vein, we have The House at Phantom Park by Graham Masterton. This I have on NetGalley. I'm not sure when it comes out, but soon. So I'd like to get it read hopefully in the next maybe week or two before that happens. This is following a house that is being opened as a hotel. But it was previously a doctor's office or hospital where a doctor looked after his patients and left a lot of notes about what he did, and the owners of this hotel find the notes after hearing coughs from the rooms in the middle of the night when they are just not being used, when they're empty. And they're like, where are these coughs coming from? And then they find their notes and realise that maybe not everything as it seems. Haunting, creepy. I'm on board. I'm all there. Doesn't have the best reviews so far. It has a 3.2. So I'm not hopeful. I do have low expectations, but again, I'm going to have to read it in the next 2 weeks anyway because I have NetGalley arc of it, so we'll see how it goes for me. Then we have something that is 100% just a cover read. I just want to read this because that's the most beautiful cover I've ever seen and is very reminiscent of the cover of last night at the Telegraph Club, and that is Murder for the Modern Girl by Kendall Kulper. Look at that cover. Look at that cover. Gorgeous. So this is very similar to the book we talked about earlier, which is where Ruby stalks the streets at night looking for prey to murder, and her prey are men. So clearly we're going to be reading a lot about murdering men in the next couple of months, and I'm on board with it. So she is supernatural and has the ability to read minds, and so she reads minds of the men who are preying upon young women in order to assault them, and she murders them. We love to see it, Queen. Good for you. Good for you, truly. I'm excited. I feel like this is going to be really, really good. And yeah, I have high hopes. But I will be honest, I mainly want to read it because of that cover. Because I'm sorry, it's just stunning. Another book that I'm interested in reading is Lakesedge by Lyndall Clipstone. This apparently is being compared to Crimson Peak, which I have watched and hated. I'll be honest, I really did not like that movie. but I like the like vibes of it. I like what it's trying to do. So the fact that this has been compared to it makes me feel like I could like this if I give it a try. So I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I'm gonna try it. So Violetta goes to this house, or this estate, Lakesedge, where she's expecting to find a monster. And this monster is this man who, named Rowan, who actually drowned his entire family when he was a young boy. But when she gets there, she realises not everything is as everybody believed it to be, and there are actually monsters in the woods. And I assume these are real monsters who killed the boy's family. I don't know. This sounds really, really interesting. I think it's going to be what I wanted from Crimson Peak, without the incest, basically. I hope anyway, because I did not enjoy that movie at all for that reason. It sounds fun, and I feel like I don't think I have any YA horror on this list yet. So if I'm wrong, I might be wrong, but this one sounds like it could be like a good break from all the scary adult horror I'm hoping to read, and so I'll read a YA horror instead. I think it's like a romance, a gothic romance more than horror. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be quite good if it's not incestual. So a book that's fairly low on the like I want to read it desperately stage is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. Is this the second book I have from Caitlin Starling on here? I think I talked about one of her books earlier, I'm pretty sure. I am interested in this because the synopsis sounds really good, but this has a 3.2 rating, and I've only ever heard one person actually enjoy this book. So it's one that, like, if I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't, you know? So we'll see. It's about Jane, who is marrying Augustine because she needs to marry someone. It's like a marriage of convenience, I believe. And he agrees to it as long as she never spends the night at his family's manor. But one day they are out, and I think a storm happens or something happens that means they have to spend the night at the family manor, and she finds out why he made those rules. That's all I know. It's all I think the synopsis really gives. It doesn't blow me away as a synopsis, but it does intrigue me. So I feel like we could give it a read. Just see how it goes and hope for the best. It says this Crimson Peak inspired story. We have 2 Crimson Peak stories on here. Hopefully one of them will give me what I hoped from the Crimson Peak movie. Let's see. And the final book that is on this list is Goblin by Josh Malin. I can't really give you a synopsis for this because it is a collection of 6 novellas, all based around this one town, and I think we have a narrator that tells us the story of these 6 people. Again, not the best reviews, but I'm really intrigued by that concept of like the 6 novellas being all from the same town and told by the same narrator. It just sounds like something interesting for me, and I'm not really one for anthologies, but I do like to pick one up now and again to try and get into them. So I am hopeful. Again, the cover is really spooky and really pretty, so maybe this will be a great Halloween read. Who knows? But with it being 6 novellas, I could read it in installments in between books, and that could be quite nice as like a refresher. So yeah, I'm intrigued by that one, but I don't have much to tell you about it because it's an anthology. So those were all the books that I'm interested in reading in October/November, kind of spooky season. There's a lot of them. I don't know if I'll get to them all. If you have read any of these, please let me know. If there's any you would really like me to prioritise to review and let you know how you feel about them as well, let me know down below, and I shall do that in my wrap up or something. If you'd like me to vlog some of these, I could do that as well. I think I might do like a spooky reads vlog. And yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. It was really fun to just chat about books with you, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!